And of course, joining us as always is the very mysterious, very majestic. Wait for it. Where is he? There he is, Mr. Zero.
What up, Mike? Can you
Hey,
hear me?
what's up, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. That mic is sounding fresh, man. That mic is
Yeah,
sounding
funky,
crispy.
funky, fresh.
Snap, crackle, pop, man. That's what that mic is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, man. Um, Good now. I'm doing good now. um, these days are getting longer, man.
Oh
These
man,
days, these weeks, work is just intense.
when is
That's
that
okay.
gonna When are you gonna get some more free time? Is it after the holidays?
Oh, I think I gotta just like rage quit or something. You know what I mean?
Just flip over your desk, right? But you're gonna be at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Flip over my own desk. Yeah. Nah, it's
Mm.
looking like unemployment is imminent, which is
Ah,
nice. I'm looking forward to a break. Um, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a bunch of stuff I had to do today. I still need to put up decorations.
Oh man.
Yeah,
All right, getting into the spirit, huh?
I'm trying to, man. I'm lagging on it. That's what I should have put it up earlier. But
Well, we'll get there. Still got a week. Snap, crackle, pop, the new frantic romantic single. I'm all for it. I'm
I
all
like it.
for it.
I like it. Too bad Ruben can't be here with us, huh?
Yeah, for everybody joining us, our comrade, our third musketeer. I don't know which musketeer he would be. I just because I don't remember the names. Um, there's the funny
Oh,
one. There's the angry one, and then there's the leader one. Uh,
is there a grumpy, sneezy Doc?
yeah,
Sleepy.
that's it. Yeah, grumpy, sneezy, and Doc. Um, but yeah, he's feeling under the weather, so he will not be joining us. We wish him the best in his recovery here.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
hey, for everybody out there, send your good wishes. You know what I mean? Send some good vibes his way. I see that Lauren is in the waiting room, but we got a whole 2 minutes.
Cool.
You know, Mondo says he's D'Artagnan. Possibly.
He can be if he wants. If he wants to be.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is we haven't made any official announcements, but we do have some secret. We have a secret roster going.
Uh-oh.
Some folks that are let's just say they'll be possibly debuting down the line. Um, and I get the feeling one of them is more the D'Artagnan than Ruben is, for sure. But for now, I think Ruben can be D'Artagnan. It's French, right? Three Musketeers, is that French? Must be, right?
Mondo would know.
Mondo
What
would
do you think?
know.
What do you think, Mondo? Mondo says they're German. No, wait, that's not what he said. He said ha 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 ha.
You ever watch The Man in the Iron Mask, Zeke?
The one with Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that one. It's pretty
it
good.
was good. It was I guess, an unofficial sequel to Three Musketeers.
Interesting. I forgot about that movie. Was that before or after Romeo and Juliet?
After, I think.
It was after. And then after that was Titanic, right?
I think Man in the Iron Mask might have been after Titanic.
Oh.
And the only reason I say that is because when Titanic came out and all the girls in the class had a big crush on Leonardo DiCaprio,
Mhm.
um, many of the boys hated Leonardo DiCaprio for that.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a
Yeah.
weird type of hate. But to be honest, I don't think he really showed his acting skills in Titanic.
I've never seen Titanic.
You've oh wow. Wow.
I know.
Yeah, that's wow.
I've
How did
never
you get
seen
through
it.
life like that, man?
What's that?
How did you get through life without watching Titanic?
Oh, well, it's a long story that I'm more than happy to explain. However, we do have Lauren joining us right
Oh,
about now.
no.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up,
Can you
Lauren?
hear me? Here, wait. Do I need to turn it and then turn it again? Hold on. Am I upside down for you guys?
You're sideways,
Sideways.
but
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. You can do whatever you want.
I think I have to do this and then, yeah.
There we go.
Sweet.
Perfect.
Got some.
Shit, my sunglasses. No. Do
Yeah.
I even have it anywhere?
Do you have any handy anywhere?
It's totally fine if you don't. But
Are we live? Oh, we're
we
live.
We
are
are
live on Facebook. Yes. I like the background, the set you have behind you there. That's a
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
I decided to make it festive.
Yeah. Well, Zeke here was just telling us how he's about to decorate his place. So oh,
Yep.
nice. There we
Nice.
go. Awesome. Those are officially the coolest glasses on this episode of our podcast.
You don't have to say that.
Well, it's like
They're not that cool.
the design though. I like the design on the.
Thank
on
you.
the-
I might have to take these off at a certain point because it's a little dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Zeke and I are going to
Which-
lose our eyesight in about 5
Yeah.
years.
I'm not gonna lie, I can't really see out of mine. To be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. And they
You
want me
got
to
the-
play
Yeah.
on stage like this.
You got the Geordie LaForge glasses.
Just because I could look into the future.
Yeah.
You know, I usually wear glasses or contacts, but a lot of times when I play on stage, I don't wear anything, so I just can't even see anyone's face, and it honestly really helps.
I agree. You can hide a lot of emotions behind
Yeah,
sunglasses.
yeah,
And then also, yeah, it's sort of like if you're looking out of them, yeah, it kind of just people disappear. So
yeah.
it's good.
I like to cry on stage. Nobody really notices, really. So
Do you wear sunglasses too?
I do. It's a requirement
Oh.
for this band, actually.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
We kind of just fell into it. I don't know. Kind of just something that we.
Yeah. What's the artistic choice?
I don't know if it was a choice. I think one of us started doing it, and then all of us just eventually started doing it, and then that was it. Very interesting story. But I would like to introduce everybody, our very loving audience, to Lauren Lakis, or is it Lakis?
It's Lakis, but that's okay. It's
Okay.
that everyone says Lakis. I
I'm very
expect it.
sorry.
It's okay.
So we are talking to Lauren Lakis, and if I remember correctly, you are down here in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to your tunes, and I got to say, I am not familiar, but now I'm very interested, and I love what I've heard so far. So just want to say, awesome stuff. You have an awesome voice.
Thank you.
I would love to know all about how you got started and sort of your inspirations, boilerplate questions, which we'll of course get into, but yeah, you have a huge body of work, and that's awesome. I always love when I can discover new music and there's a ton of it and it's all great, and I have something to look forward to when I'm perusing Spotify or your other outlets of music. But yeah, so have you been in Los Angeles for your whole life, or did you move here from somewhere else?
Well, I kind of want to take these off. I feel like I can't
Sure.
connect.
Go
Okay,
for it.
cool. Okay. So I'm from Baltimore.
Oh, cool.
Originally from Baltimore City. And then from there, I spent a little bit of time in Prague and then a little bit of time in Tokyo teaching English and
Oh, wow.
actually acting in Tokyo. And I decided to just move to LA from Tokyo because it was really hard living in Tokyo. It's like that feeling of being surrounded by like millions of people but being utterly alone, like lost in translation essentially. And so I moved here probably about 10 years ago, and I moved for acting, and yeah, I guess maybe in like year 3 of being here, I like met a friend at like an audition for a Toyota commercial. And
nice.
Yeah, and he was like, hey, my band is looking for another female singer, do you want to come audition? And I was pretty terrified because like I played guitar since I was a teenager, but I was never in a band or anything like that. And I went and auditioned and ended up being in that band for almost a year. And so it was kind of like band boot camp because we were playing shows constantly and we recorded an album and we toured. So it was kind of like,
oh wow,
yeah, I got a taste of like everything. We did like a radio run and all the stuff, and so I was just singing in that band. And oh yeah, and then like I took a little break, and then I had the worst year of my life in 2016. And when that happens, your ego just gets obliterated, which is actually a good thing because I had no self-consciousness at that point. And I took this big road trip across the country, and I was just listening to like all my favorite female artists, and not even all female, just favorite artists. And they made me feel less alone in what I was feeling. And I remember thinking like this is the way to give something back. Like I want to be able to do this for other people, make other people feel less alone. And so when I got back to LA, I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to write a record, and I don't care if it sucks. And I think that's the best place to start from when you're writing something. So that was when I first started with my own music, and that album ended up being Ferocious, which I put out in 2018.
Yeah.
And it's just been kind of snowballing ever since. And I'm really grateful because I feel way more inspired making music than I ever have as an actress. So it's a nice reward, I guess, from the universe, to be like, hey, you're following your passion. Good job.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I have a ton of questions now. That you've lived a very interesting and awesome life, from what it sounds like. That's wow. Okay. Man,
sorry, I just kind of dumped a lot on you.
No, it's great. This is great. I'm trying to figure out kind of where to start. So the immediate question I have, you felt like when you were in Tokyo, you were surrounded by a lot of people, but you felt alone. Correct?
Yeah.
Do you get that vibe at all in LA or no?
Oh yeah.
Because I certainly do. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I think the vibe in LA a lot of time, well, pre 2020, the usual LA vibe is like, almost like this sense of entitlement or something, or everyone has this attitude of like, I have to be somewhere important, like screw you, get out of my way, like wherever I'm going is more important than where you're going. It's this like self-importance that's just so ugly, honestly. I guess not so much this year because people don't really the hustle factor is less this
Right.
year.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But yeah, definitely I get that here.
Yeah. And, like LA, I moved here in 2014. So I haven't been here as long, but um,
Where did you move from?
I moved from the Bay Area, from San Jose.
Mm.
Um, and it definitely, I mean, California is, I guess, a lot of different things depending on where you are, Um, but yeah, it's kind of like how you describe, LA is one of these places where everybody moves here. There's a ton of people that move here because they want to do something in entertainment, right? And I do get the vibe, like with a lot of my friendships and with a lot of my work situations and stuff like that, that's kind of how it is. You're constantly getting steamrolled by big egos, so it interests me just to kind of hear, possibly maybe what the difference is between a place like Tokyo and a place like Los Angeles in terms of, I mean, they're both big cities. They're both really modern and fast paced. Um, but yeah, I guess more or less just curious if there was something distinctively different between the two, in terms of
I
how.
mean, I would say the biggest difference is in Tokyo, as a foreigner, you can't disappear, right? But then sometimes here in LA, it's really easy to disappear amongst everyone, um, especially like as a woman, right? It's like in LA, there are just models running around all around you, and it's like no one's even noticing me. But then in Tokyo, everyone notices you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a non-Asian person, they notice you. Even in Tokyo, even in the big cities. So there would be days where I just didn't want to be looked at, and like that's so my anxiety was really high in Tokyo, really for that reason. Like at first it was funny and it was like, I don't know, a novelty or something. It was fine, but then probably after like a month of being there, it really started to get to me. And I think I was like blonde when I first moved there, and I pretty quickly dyed my hair like super dark and like just wore shades everywhere because I was like, I don't want to be noticed anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So,
interesting.
and they're much more polite there too. They're not going to steamroll you with ego. It's more so like being an other in Tokyo, like being
Right.
so obviously foreign, that people just treat you differently everywhere you go. And a lot of times there's the language barrier. So like there were some days where I would be out and the only thing I would say to people was sumimasen, which means excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me sad. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
How would you say? Would you say it all aggressively, like "excuse me"?
No.
Push him out of the way, as you said.
You could have said
Sumimasen. No.
So you came back to LA, and then you mentioned down the line that you drove across the country, which is something that I've actually personally wanted to do for probably 10 years now, and for whatever reason I just haven't been able to do it. I actually was hoping to do it this year finally, and then of course COVID.
Yeah, but you could still do it, just
Don't get out of the car.
yeah. Like, actually, never mind.
You just gotta
It would,
double up on the mass. That's all.
yeah.
Right.
Just get like a plastic tarp and put it over your body. Although I feel like a lot of places, like if you wanted to do the whole tourist thing wherever you go, like you wouldn't be able to. That's the only thing. If you did a road trip and we're just trying to see like the land. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so for example, where were some of the places that you've gone? And this is actually something that's really interesting to me because, you know, I've only been to, I don't know, 10, maybe 10 states. And there's a lot of places like right in the middle of the country that I have no compass for, you know what I mean? So I'm actually really curious. I mean, what are some of the places you went to, and was there anything that was like surprisingly interesting that people maybe, you know, Californians, for example, wouldn't have any idea about?
Well, for that road trip, I went from here to Joshua Tree to Tucson to Austin to New Orleans
Oh, cool.
to Atlanta to Nashville to Iowa to visit a friend to Minneapolis, and then through Nebraska, Salt Lake City. No, I didn't go to Salt Lake City. Somewhere random in Utah, Denver, and then back down. But
Wow.
I would say, I mean, this is pretty random, but the drive, what was it? It was through Iowa. I'm not sure if it was between Nashville and Iowa or between Iowa and Minneapolis, but whatever that highway is, it was in the summertime and it was pitch black, but there were like, I don't even know, like trillions of lightning bugs like on the side of the road, and it was so beautiful. I had to pull over and get out and just like be inside of them.
Wow.
Like I just wanted, to feel that. And so that was probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and unexpected. So
well, darn, that certainly sounds cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's really it's really cool that it you experienced all that. I'm pretty sure it gave you a lot of stuff to write about too, musically, you know.
I mean, on that trip specifically, I think I was mostly just like crying the whole time.
Oh, geez.
I mean, it was super cathartic, you know.
Yeah.
But I would say, like in that moment, it reminded me that the world is so vast, right? And there's so much to experience. And so getting caught up in this one little issue that I was having is just, it's pointless, you know? So yeah, in that way, it was inspirational for sure.
Yeah. So, and correct me if I'm wrong. So, you went out into the country on this trip, and then you came back, and it sounds like it gave you a lot of sort of like a second wind, you know, sort of energized you and put you back into making music. And I'm curious, you know, the transition between being in a band and being a solo act. What did that sort of entail for you? Did you have to recruit like a backing band, for instance? And sort of how did that all come together?
So so I ended up writing everything by myself. And then I actually reached out to the guy who engineered and produced my old band's record. His name is Chris Kasich. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, not sure if I want to record this in a studio or not. What do you think? Do you recommend anyone? And he recommended Billy Burke, who has been my producer for this entire time. And it was such a godsend for both of us. Like Billy and I have talked about this many times, how he was sort of in this weird position where he didn't know which way to go and really wanted to find someone that he could like build a solid relationship with and really explore with. And I felt so vulnerable and so brand new that I needed someone that I could trust and really feel safe with. So Chris recommended Billy, and I brought all my demos to Billy, and we made it together. I recruited my old drummer, his name's AJ. I recruited him for drums for the first album, and then I was playing pretty much solo. I remember playing some shows with backing tracks, which really it wasn't the right setup at all. So I remember I played a show with some backing tracks, and a couple of my friends came to support. And after there, it was like this whole issue with the backing tracks, like the sound guy, which I'm sure you guys have come across many a sound person who really, really could
Really
care
common.
less
Yep.
about being there. And like, oh man, it was so bad. It was like my keyboard was like way too high, the backing tracks were way too low. It was so horrible. And my friends that were there, they were like, you need a band. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And so one of them is a drummer and one of them is a bassist. And they're well, I mean, we don't have live shows to play, so you know, we're not playing together right now, but they're my band. So
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
and we've all been friends for years before we started playing together. So again, feels really safe, you know.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Being in bands is such a, you know, no matter what you do, it's always going to be a very close knit thing, right? I mean, you're going to have to be working with these folks often. And I mean, I'm sure all three of us can really speak to kind of like sometimes it creates friendships and sometimes it destroys friendships. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's just interesting how, you know, some of my closest friends, I mean, I've been in bands with, and, you know, it either destroys it or whatever, or, you know, you end up becoming good friends because of the band. Like Zeke and I really didn't know each other very well before this year, but he joined our band in the beginning of the year. And I don't know. You know what, Zeke? I love you. I love you, man.
I kind of like you too, man.
Oh.
No, Mike, of course, man. I wouldn't join the band if I didn't like you. You know, so you know.
Thanks. Yeah, but I mean,
Sorry, Lauren, it's all awkward now. I'm like,
No, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful love to witness.
no, really.
Did you just tell Zeke you love him for the first time?
Yeah.
This is wow.
Yeah, I'm crying under these, by the
So-
way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Nobody could tell.
The shape of your sunglasses are perfect for like catching the drops.
Oh,
He has like foam at the bottom to catch all of it. Let's see.
So
Yeah, that's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, you know, I mean, Zeke's just a beautiful dude. So,
thank you.
I
Oh
appreciate
wow.
it.
Well, Mike
Uh,
comes out now, huh?
we usually have a third member on here that's, you know, he's a great guy, and but he's all business, you know, and with his absence tonight, I guess I'm getting a little bit silly.
You're feeling flirty.
Yeah, I'm feeling flirty. Yeah. Uh,
It's
so
okay, Mike.
LA, doing shows in LA can mean
Oh.
quite a few different things, you know. I mean, there's the West
Sure.
Side, there's Hollywood, there's downtown, there's whatever else, the Valley. Do you have a certain region of LA that you prefer doing shows?
Yeah, definitely. I would say like the East Side. You know,
Nice.
gosh, trying to think. I'm like, wait, what venues are in LA again? I forget. It's been so long. Yeah, like I would say some of the best shows that we've played were at the Bootleg. That was awesome. I had such a good time playing the Bootleg. Resident was awesome too.
Oh yeah.
What else am I thinking of? What are some of the other venues? I'd like to play the Echo again. I played the Echo with my old band.
Oh, awesome.
But not any of my stuff. So that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Gold Diggers was really nice. They have good sound there.
Oh, where is that?
That's more so Hollywood, but East Hollywood. It used to be a strip club, I think, and they converted it into like a venue and also a studio space.
Those are always the best, you know. Strip clubs that have been converted into venues.
Have you guys ever played what's it, Cheetahs, that strip club. A bunch of bands play there.
Oh.
It's still an active strip club.
Oh wow. Okay. Where is that in Hollywood, or where is that?
East LA, like Los Feliz.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like every month that goes by, my first thought is just like, what venues are going to be left when this is all
Yeah.
back to normal, when it's back to normal, and there's a ton of places that I just kind of like, I'm going to be so bummed out if they're gone, you know. Like
Yeah.
there's this little section of downtown LA where there's these 3 venues, and I'd always just venue hop between the 3 of them. One of them's called The Smell.
Oh
One of
yeah.
them, yeah, and was a 5-star bar.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember the name of the third one, but there's a third one there. And that was always fun. Scary, a little scary, but also fun.
Yeah.
Those are the
Are you
most fun.
thinking there's another smaller one, Ham and Eggs? Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that in
Ham
the
and
same
Eggs.
area? I've actually never been there, but I drive past it a lot.
You know, I don't think I've been to Ham and Eggs either. I've heard of it though. Darn. Man, this just makes me want to play shows. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
I know. Like, oh. Well, the Satellite, I guess, is one that has closed. Did you hear about that?
I did, yeah.
The
That was-
Satellite, and then. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
That was a little while ago, right? Maybe a couple months ago.
That was. I mean, honestly, that was pretty quickly after everything started.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I want to say maybe a month or 2 after everything,
Yeah.
popped off.
Yeah. Darn.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, East LA for sure, I would say. Yeah, like Silver Lake, downtown. Just, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the West Side. I don't really know a lot of people on the West Side.
It's a
I
different
don't
world.
know. I
It's a
wouldn't
different
even.
world.
Yeah, we did play a show at Time Warp Records that was pretty cool. I feel like that's the only West Side show we've ever played.
Yeah, I think I've only played. I don't even remember the name of the place. It was in Santa Monica somewhere. It's just a different vibe over there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get any. What's up?
You go ahead.
Oh, I mean, if you have like a built-in audience, or if you have regulars that go to your shows or whatever, it's hard to get them to go out there. So yeah, I live in Burbank, and for a while I was working in like almost Santa Monica,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'd have to do that commute every day, and it was like 2 hours there and 2 hours back, and I just after 5 months I was just like, well, sorry guys, I'm done.
Damn, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable just how long it can take to get to and from the West Side.
I know.
People yeah, I don't know. People who aren't from here really wouldn't believe it.
Because it's not like geographically, it's such a short distance, and when you really think about it, right, it's sort of like it's not that much space to cover, but just because all the traffic, and it makes it awful. But anyways, I'm sorry, totally tangenting. Oh man, sorry. So okay, so you're in LA. You've put together your solo act. You recorded, and then you started gigging, or around the same time, both those things?
Around the same time. I definitely, yeah, I wasn't playing that many shows before the record came out, because I didn't really have anything to show anyone, in order to like book shows or anything. So it was really, really starting out brand new. Which I'm so glad I'm not at that point anymore. But yeah, so I think, yeah, the shows started to ramp up a little more once the record came out. Probably, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 months after the record came out is when I finally started playing with my band. And yeah, I guess at that point, like having the band helped me to feel more confident with booking shows and all that too. So I felt a little more gung ho about it. Um, yeah, we did some tours. I'm trying to remember. We did like a Southwest tour
Oh, wow.
in 2018, and that was really fun. We played some hole in the wall place in Las Vegas. Oh God, I'm totally blanking on the name. Uh, but I wasn't expecting Vegas to be like so awesome. I don't know what I expected from Vegas, but it was like this like punk bar, and it was packed, and I felt a little bit intimidated actually, because I was like, oh man, like everyone here looks so cool and so tough. Like, are they gonna like our show? But they did.
That's great.
So yeah, and then 2019 we were playing constantly. Yeah, we did like a West Coast tour a little over a year ago. It was like fall of 2019. So I guess that's made this year a little bit more bearable because we played so freaking much last year, and then even the beginning of this year quite a bit. So I mean, honestly, like when everything first shut down, I was pretty relieved just to have a break. Like no expectations, no pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm ready. I'm well rested. Like I'm ready.
Already? You're already well rested after 9 months or whatever?
After 9 months. Yeah, it only took 9 months.
Are there particular like so when you're setting up tours and stuff, are there particular bands that you do like a leg of the tour with? Are there particular bands that you prefer kind of regionally touring with?
Yeah, so for the Southwest tour, we went with another band who is local to LA. They were called Chow Chow Mandy, but they broke up and now their singer's doing a solo thing. And yeah, same thing for the Ferocious tour. When I first put out that album, that was also a West Coast tour, and that was in 2018. That's before I had a band. I was playing backing tracks, and I brought another LA artist. Her name's MRK. I brought her with me, and then the last tour we did about a year ago, it was another West Coast tour. It was myself and Pale Spring, who they actually, so Pale Spring, it's my friend Emily and her husband Drew produces, and I know Drew from Baltimore. We're both from well, all three of us are from Baltimore. So they had just moved out to LA. So yeah, I mean, for all of the tours I've brought like one other friend's band, and then usually for the out of town shows we would want to have two like local bands with us. But honestly, like I think the next time we tour, I don't think it's particularly advantageous to bring like another, LA act with us, because, you're going to bring more people and make more money if it's like you as the out of towner and then you just surround yourself with like the local people, so instead of having two local bands, like why not have three on the bill? So that was one thing that I learned, even though it might not be like as fun, it's probably more practical.
Well, I guess that answers my next question. Speaking of questions, we have some questions from the audience. The first one being from Emmanuel Rodriguez, our good friend, E-Man for short. What is the significance of The Offspring, Green Day, and Limp Bizkit? Is that a question for you? Or what is
I
that?
have no idea. What?
Yeah, what kind of question is that, Manuel?
I
You need to
don't
explain.
know.
Yeah, E-Man, let's just turn that question back at you. What is the significance of The Offspring, Green Day, and Limp Bizkit? You tell us.
You
Yeah.
tell us.
We have another.
Well,
Is
I
that-
have an answer.
Okay.
I'm like, when I was first starting to get into like my own music, as a kid, I was given Green Day. I think it was Dookie. So I remember having that cassette. I don't know how much I listened to it, but who knows? It could very well be an extremely early influence.
Mm.
The Offspring, not so much. Limp Bizkit, not so much. But everything has a place and a time.
Yeah. I used to listen to Creed. I know what it's like.
Still, I gotta have my CD player right now. Man.
I mean, it's good songwriting.
Creed? Yeah, I completely agree.
It's we have another question actually from Francis. She's like, do you feel that your acting experiences does it cross over with helping you with your performance or recording part of your music? So basically, your background in acting, does that help you with your musical side?
You would think that it would help with like stage fright and things like that, but no, not really, because it's so different. I would say it has helped me with the business aspect of it, for sure, but not with the performance aspect. Yeah, it's a different beast when you're performing stuff that actually comes from you, like your words.
Right.
It's that, yeah. With acting, I don't feel that naked, or that vulnerable. But I'd say with the business stuff, like, for sure, yeah, that definitely, it helps.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more paperwork than people realize when it comes to showbiz.
Yeah, or even like learning how to email professionally. Or like, I already knew how to make my own website, do social media, do like a bunch of that stuff, design work, just from being an actor. I didn't have to learn that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's interesting that at least with me, I've always felt, or actually, I guess more recently, I've felt that there's a lot of similarities between the different branches of kind of entertainment. Whether it's acting or music, especially. I work in the animation industry for my day job. And and like yourself, I feel like a lot of the experiences I've had within that has kind of, I've been able to put it back into, band stuff, and mainly just like, the interesting thing is, I think the most valuable thing is knowing how to not get sued. And I don't know if like I don't know if you've ever sort of experienced that, but it, you know what I mean? Like, just knowing what it means not to plagiarize, or like not to accidentally steal something, or maybe intentionally steal something but not know it's wrong, or that kind of thing. That's sort of what I've run into.
Really? I haven't really worried about that at all. I mean, I'm more so worried about, like, I don't want to have to sue somebody else, like looking at contracts and things, like, am I am I going to get screwed long term? Like that's hard for me, especially I don't want to have to like be tough or like I don't know. That's something I've had to learn to get over, like stop being so nice, you know, if there's something that I don't like, say it, and demand something different, or demand something more, you know, because they'll people will try to get as much out of you as you let them. So
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, a ton of producers and agents and managers out there that are hoping to, uh, yeah, it's an interesting landscape that way.
fun times.
Yeah, but it seems like I mean, from what I hear, it sort of seems like you've been able to kind of maneuver through that successfully, and
So far. So far so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Do you feel like you would stay in LA, or would you, down the line, would you prefer sort of exploring different music scenes and different cities and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, I've been back and forth between here and Portland quite a bit over the past couple of years, and I have a really beautiful network of artists and people that I like to work with up there. And so I attempted to move there like the first week of January this year. And I don't recommend moving to the Pacific Northwest in the wintertime. It was very difficult, you know. So whatever pangs of regret and anxiety and depression started to creep in, it was only exacerbated by being in a Pacific Northwest winter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I decided that I wanted to come back to LA like right before all this started.
Oh.
Yeah, like my first official day back in LA was April 1st. But yeah, I mean, I sometimes do still think about Portland. I don't think I want to be in LA long term. I mean, we don't have to talk about politics, but there are some things that have been happening in LA that I'm just like, damn, like this place is kind of turning into, I don't know, something I wouldn't want to live in. So I think about Austin a lot. I think about even just going out to Arizona. Like, I would love to have land. I would love to buy a house at some point. Like, I don't think that buying a house is ever going to happen here in LA. Yeah, so definitely. And I don't know exactly when. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, okay, well, LA seems like it's going to be the last place to even open up. So even if it was just next year for the first 6 months of the year, I hang out like in the desert or in Texas or wherever, and then eventually come back, like that would be fine too. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. And I think it is a lot more noticeable nowadays. And obviously, yeah, our show is not about politics, very, very intentionally, but
you don't want to talk about the great job that Mayor Garcetti and Governor Newsom are doing?
No, none of that. But it seems like a running theme in California now is, it is an unfortunate sort of thing where it's like like I grew up in California and I've only ever lived in California, and it's sad.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this as a native?
Well, it's sad because I noticed that a lot of people in my shoes are taken off. You know what I mean?
I've noticed that too. There's this mass exodus happening.
Yeah, there is a mass exodus happening. I don't know if my brother wants me saying this, but he's planning on moving up to Oregon pretty soon.
Does he live here in LA?
No, he lives in the Bay Area. Yeah, and the Bay Area is I mean, if we think LA is expensive, the Bay Area is just boom. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And for me, I obviously love California, and I for all the things I could say about LA, I really love LA, but that is something that crosses my mind a lot. Is just like I would never be able to buy a house. I probably like starting a family would be a tough
Yeah,
thing to do.
exactly.
Yeah, and it's weird. It really you got to sit there and just think to yourself like, this, I don't know, how long would I be able to do this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, you don't think about that when you're first moving here, like I didn't think about like, okay, well, yeah, I don't know. I was just like stuck on the dream and was focused on that. And then it's like you start to see what the pattern is, right? Like at least for me, it's like, okay, it's going to be peaks and valleys forever, I guess, until what? Like what's going to happen? Are things really going to change that much? Because they haven't. I'm no more capable of buying a house and starting a family now than I was 10 years ago. So do I wait another 5 years, another 10 years? Or, do I go and build something else somewhere
Right.
else?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I love California too. And I love LA too. There's an energy here that is really just unmatched anywhere else. And I always tell people you get the best of the best and the worst of the worst here.
Right.
But that best of the best, like you're not going to find it anywhere else because, yeah, it's just a bunch of like inspired people that came here to do the thing that inspires them. And that is so powerful. So,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's there is like an interesting kind of desperation / romance to being in LA, because when things are bad, you really feel it, and when things are good, you really feel it, and what's so great, and something I've really missed in this last year is you're never going to be short of experiences, and you're never going to be short of stories to tell and stuff like that. Places to go, people you meet. I mean, there's just celebrities walking around everywhere, which is a thing. And it's great, but yeah, like I've been here 6 years, and I don't know, like 16 years, like if I was like hitting my 16th year in LA or something, would I still be in love with that stuff? Right.
yeah.
I don't know.
What if you lived next door to Danny DeVito? Would you
Oh, if I
still?
live next door to Danny DeVito, then yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, if I'm living next door to Danny DeVito, then
Yeah.
my house
You
is
can start
probably,
a family.
yeah.
Yeah, you can probably do a lot of things.
I mean,
Zeke,
even
where are
better
you
if
from?
I'm actually from the Bay Area,
Oh,
San
okay.
Jose, San Jose. But I got family in LA. Actually, my wife's family. I go down there every so often. Meet up with Mike. Meet up with our other member, Ruben. So I do like LA from an outsider perspective. I do notice that even though Target is probably like 5 minutes away, it'll take me about 45 minutes to get there. So
that's the
a
rule, 45 minutes to
drawback.
get anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, with this year too, it's like, it used to be that you had to be in this city in order to do certain things. But now, I mean, even look at us. Like, we're in the same city. Are we doing this together? No, like we're doing it on Zoom. And so it's the same thing with auditions. There are no shows happening here. So I'm just like, why pay LA rent prices and deal with LA BS if you
Yeah.
can't even enjoy the things that are supposed to be specific to LA? Like
Right.
it doesn't exist anymore, and maybe it'll exist again at some point, but for now you don't have to be here to do anything in art or entertainment.
Right.
So that's another part of it for me.
I think the nail in the coffin for me is if they announce, because they already shut down Amoeba in Hollywood, right?
Oh
And then
no.
they're just moving it over to Hollywood and Highland, which, hey, I'm all
Yeah.
for. If they announce that they're not opening up Amoeba and it's just gone forever, then I
That's
think
when
that
you know.
that might be my yeah, that might be when I ask for the check and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's indicative, right, of the whole. So
Yeah. I miss that Amoeba so much.
yeah. Where do you consider going?
Uh See, well, and this is kind of why I wanted to see more of the country, you know, because there's a lot of places I've been, but there's also a lot of places I have not been, which I really hear great things about. Out of the places that I have been, like Seattle and Portland, I think are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Austin is awesome. Um, but like I've never been to New Orleans, I've never been to Chicago, I've never been to New York City, which is just ridiculous. Um, I'd like to check out those. I feel like Chicago has like a feel to it, you know, and everybody I know from Chicago, they have a certain type of personality, and it seems like there is a specific culture there that I'd love to check out.
Yeah, I've never been to Chicago. Been everywhere else. I mean, I would just say like the thing about Portland and Seattle. Portland's weather is probably more mild than Seattle, so
mhm.
um, yeah, it's just I don't know how you are with the darkness and all of that, but it's pretty dark and gray
Love
up
it.
there. That's you. Well, I thought so too. You know, after so many years in LA, I was like, like the sun. It's like the mocking sun, right? Like those bad days when it's sunny outside. You're like, oh, the sun is like mocking me right now. Like it's just so oppressive. So I thought like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna love being in Portland. I don't care if it rains every day, if it's cold, like great. But yeah, I don't know. It really affected me.
Yeah.
So
When
I don't know.
I've been up there twice, and I think it was once was in June and once was in July, and it was
Oh,
just
that's the it's so beautiful.
just buckets of rain, just the hardest rain I've ever been in. And I thought, okay, this is cool, but I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Zeke already knows what I'm going to say. I
Well,
am
real quick though, I did
sure.
want to ask a question.
Go for it.
Your influences, because I hear a lot of PJ Harvey, Chelsea Wolfe, and a little bit of shoegaze in there. Do you mind going over what influenced your music?
Oh God. This is always so hard. Well, okay, so earliest influences, I love Hole. I love Hole so much. I don't care
Oh,
what
cool.
anyone has to say about Courtney Love, like whatever. I think she's so raw and just a pioneer. So definitely her. And then I was thinking about this like right before we hopped on too. I was like, okay, you should probably write a list of people that you want to talk about. Um, Chelsea Wolfe is cool. I haven't listened to a whole lot of her stuff, but I've noticed that like with this new cycle of songs I've been putting out, a lot of people have been bringing her up, which I would say I listen to more like Emma Ruth Rundle versus Chelsea Wolfe, and they're both on Sargent House. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with either of them, but yeah, like I love Land of Talk. And Land of Talk was someone that I listened to a lot on my road trip. Oh God, I haven't even listened to a lot of PJ Harvey. Like as far as 90s people go, like it was mostly Hole and Garbage.
Oh God, I
Um,
love Garbage.
yeah, Fiona Apple, Cat Power. Uh, like what are some of the newer people I've been listening to? Yeah, see, I'm gonna forget so many people. Definitely shoegaze. I mean, um, like My Bloody Valentine's Love List was probably one of my most played albums.
I love
Also
that
Nine Inch
album.
Nails. Yeah, Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile is one of my all-time favorite albums.
Great album.
Um
Do you have a favorite Garbage album? I know that's kind of a hard question
Oh,
because they're
well,
all good.
definitely Garbage, whatever their first one, the self-titled or
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
cool.
What about you?
You know, I'm probably gonna go with version 2, 2.0.
Mm,
Yeah, I know it's like their
interesting.
poppiest. You know, it's like them going pop basically, but I just, nostalgia reasons. I don't know. I just really love that one. And don't get me wrong, I love all their albums. Like Beautiful Garbage, I thought was really, really wacky and interesting. And then their first album, of course, was amazing.
Yeah.
Their newer
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh, I was just gonna say when I heard their first album, I thought it was like so dark and so cool. Like it just I'd never heard anything like that before.
It's their most raw, yeah. That's their most raw, dark album. Has a very really young energy, really young, rebellious energy.
Yeah.
That one song, Number One Crush. What album was that on? Or was that on the soundtrack only?
Number One Crush, I think, was on the first album, I think, right?
Oh, I remember that from the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, which was an amazing soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. That kickstarted my Leonardo DiCaprio obsession.
We were just talking about Leonardo.
We were talking about it,
yeah. in the pre-show. I had told Zeke that I'd never seen Titanic before.
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, how did you avoid that?
Well, purposely, yeah.
So what it was a couple things. I think I was in 5th grade when the movie came out, and my parents were very much like, there's nudity in here, you can't see it or whatever. So there was that. And then and because that movie spawned this whole everybody having a crush on Leonardo DiCaprio, a lot of the boys in my grade took it upon ourselves to not like Leonardo DiCaprio because we were jealous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But one day when I retire and I have time to watch the movie, I'll sit down and watch it.
Have you seen Basketball Diaries?
No.
Me neither.
He was awesome in that movie. He played
that was pre Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Very early role for him. That role actually was constructed and it was supposed to be written for River Phoenix, but he ended up passing away.
Interesting.
But yeah, he played like a high school basketball player that fell into heroin and then started hooking around, I guess, prostituting himself. It's a pretty sad story, but he did a really, really good job portraying that role. Really good.
Yeah. Great actor.
Yeah.
I'm about to sneeze. Sorry.
Oh, bless you.
Bless
you.
Thank you.
Sorry, new video was awesome. I love the darkness in your sound. So it's great. Keep up the good work. It's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I will continue to listen to more of your tracks. I'm really, really looking forward to it. You have an awesome sound. I suggest everybody check out Lauren Lakis. And I'm the time cop of the show. Unfortunately, I always deliver the bad news that the show is over. But we would love for you to take the.
How long have we been talking? What time is it?
We're talking about.
It's not telling
about
me.
An hour, yeah.
An hour.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, that was fast, actually.
I know. Time flies, but go ahead and take the next, minute or two. Just address our audience. You could just say where they can find your music, what you're up to, all that stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can find my music in all of the places, I believe. Just search my name. And yeah, if you feel so inclined to check out any acting stuff, you can find that online as well, probably on IMDb. That'll give you all the stuff. I would say if you do check out one of my films, definitely Confessions of a Teenage Jesus Jerk is the one I would recommend. And
Cool.
what else? Yeah, new album. It's called Daughter Language. It comes out January 22nd, 2021. It's coming out with Green Witch Recordings. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do a tour for it next year at some point. And yeah, what else? Oh, I have one collab coming out December 31st with some friends that live in Portland. My friends
cool.
in Pacific Latitudes. Yeah, they're wonderful people. So I guess that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. And, once this is all over, if you're playing a show in LA and we're playing a show in LA, we would be honored to be on a bill with you. But until then, we're looking forward to your new music. And everybody out there, definitely check it out. Are you on Deezer?
What is Deezer?
Deezer is just another music streaming platform. I've never used it, but for some reason on this, this is so much harder without Ruben here because Ruben's always the one that mentions Deezer.
It's a running joke.
The joke doesn't work with me. Anyways,
is that
sorry.
even a real thing?
It is.
No,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. There's Spotify, there's Apple Music, there's Amazon, and then there's Deezer, and no one knows what it is. But there you go. All right, everybody. To Lauren and to our very loving and awesome and just super supportive and great audience. We appreciate you. And this is Hanging with the Frans. We're on every week, Thursday nights, 8:30 to 9:30, with a different music guest every time. And we will see you next. No, we won't see you next Thursday because that's the
Christmas
holidays.
Eve, right?
Is that Christmas?
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Maybe we'll have Santa on.
Hopefully.
All right. Take care. And we will.
Thank you. You too.
Maybe we'll chat soon.
We probably will chat soon.
Okay.